If you're depressed, it's probably because of this. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not gonna talk about medical advices and antidepressant pills and all these things, but I'm gonna talk about depression in a more deep way, on a deeper level. So if you're facing depression in your life, watch this because I have something for you. Boom! Hi there, my name is Nadio and I help people become aware of their potential. In today's video, we're gonna talk about depression. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not a doctor, so I want to take a different approach to the topic of depression. I know this is a very sensitive topic and I want to approach it in a very holistic way, in a let's say in a deeper way. So probably you don't hear this from a lot of people, but this is my experience with depression and how I overcame it and how you can do that too if you are finding yourself in the same situation. Now, depression, let's say, can be caused from the causes of depression might be endless. Usually the common ones are, for example, if you're not happy with your job, it might be a cause of depression. It might be your relationship with other people or relationship with yourself. In my case, for example, it was relationship with myself. I was not happy with myself. I was completely okay with other people, but I was not happy with myself. Then other causes might be maybe you had a delusion in your love life, or maybe in your friendship, or maybe in your family. Maybe you broke up from a very important relationship for you with your partner. It might be lack of clarity. For example, that was specifically my case. For a very long time, I didn't know what to do in my life. And this was causing me a lack of fulfillment. This was causing me to not be happy at all with myself. Now, I haven't experienced a deep depression, a very strong depression, but my one, it was very slight depression. Now, depression is a word that comes from the Latin language. In Latin is depressio. And in English, that means to depress. So depression, it's simply when we are depressing something, when we are lowering down something, when we are pressing down or maybe weakening something. And in the case of human beings, we talk about emotions. So we are weakening our emotions, we are suppressing our emotions. And that causes something in us that we call depression. Now, after searching and studying and learning about personal development, after understanding more myself and connecting myself with the universe and with these old laws of the universe and spirituality, I understood that depression might come as well when we suppress our higher self. Now, if you never heard about higher self, the higher self is basically the self that knows all the answers. Is the self that is connected with the higher source. So basically is the guide that is our guide to show us the way to make us live our life on this planet in the best way possible, to make us experience this lifetime that we have on this journey in the best way possible, because we are all spiritual beings living in a physical body. And this time that we spend on earth is just a temporary journey. but our deep nature, our self, is a spiritual body that is connected with the higher source. So once I started to study this, I discovered that we as human beings, we are vibrating on a high vibrational level by design. So we as human beings are designed to be in these high frequencies, high vibrations by design, by nature. That's our true nature. So what happens is that when we are suppressing our nature, when we are lowering down and weakening our higher self, our true nature, that's what causes us in our body to feel depressed. Now, I know this might be something completely different from what you've heard so far, because what made me think about this, it was if it's our mind and our body that is causing us depression, that is causing us to feel down and to feel depressed and to feel and to experience all these bad emotions, then I started to wonder, why do we need external things such as drugs or antidepressant pills or medicine to cure what the mind and our body created by themselves? And that was the thing that made me learn it even more, understand even more, and study even more. And then I realized that that was the cause in my case because I was suppressing my higher self. In my case, I was working as an accountant, and then I was not happy with the job that I was doing. And then I moved to Hong Kong, and I still didn't know what to do. And this was causing me a feeling of frustration, a feeling of depression, because I was suppressing my higher self. You know, our higher self is designed to be extraordinary. And the chart of the emotions is that, you know, when we are, by design, we are made to experience love and joy and peace. And in the lower part of the chart, we have shame and guilty and fear. So based on the emotions that we experience, then we feel more depressed, we feel more enlightened. And this was a huge discovery for me, because I thought that I needed some, probably maybe medicine, or maybe I needed to do something crazy to fix this thing that I was experiencing. But when I realized that I could be the one to fix that, then everything changed for me. So how to overcome depression? Now, this might be just some of the things that you might try that helped me personally to overcome depression. And one of the things that I started to do, it was to become more observant. What I mean by that, I used to judge myself for a lot of things that I was doing in my life. And even when I was facing this depression, this feeling of not knowing what to do in my life, instead of accepting that and instead of taking that as a sign or maybe as something that I should have waited for the divine time to show me the way, I was judging myself in a really hard way. But then I started to switch that, and I started to understand that instead of judging, I started to observe. So I started to observe recurring patterns that I had in my life. I started to observe why maybe certain moments I felt more down than others, while some other moments I was happy, some other moments I was more down. And I started to observe these recurring patterns. And this is something that you can try as well. Another thing is that if you are experiencing some kind of depression, what you can do is to take a look at yourself and see in which area you are more fulfilled and in which area you are not happy. And then try to understand where you are suppressing your emotions. Maybe it might be that you are in a toxic relationship. Maybe it might be that you are a job that is really, let's say you're in a job that you don't like at all. Or maybe it's a relationship with your family, or maybe with yourself. Take a look at which area you feel more enlightenment, more peace, and more joy, and which areas of your life you're experiencing more fear and more judgment and more shame and all these other emotions. And then another thing that I started to do is to raise my vibrations. So how to raise your vibrations? You know, there is a lot of different ways how to raise your vibrations. Now, I'm not gonna go deep into this because the video is gonna be super long. But if you're interested, you can subscribe to the channel, and I will be making a video on how to raise your vibrations alone. So some ways that you can raise your vibration, it might simply go into the nature, to ground yourself into the nature. So in this way, you can connect even more with the higher source. The nature is one of the most powerful ways to connect yourself to the ground and to the higher source. Then another thing that you can do is just to dance. Play some music, maybe some music that you like, and then you start to dance. And you see how by moving your body, you are also shaking and moving these emotions in yourself. Another thing that you can do is to maybe listen to some music, or maybe to smile for no reason. We are so caught up with all the things that we have to do every day, running here and running there, and all these things that coming up in the way in our life. Sometimes you can just stop and smile for no reason. And that will help you. It sounds crazy, I know, but that will help you to raise your vibration. I want to close this by saying that usually we see depression as something bad. But if you think about it, depression is just a symptom, is just a sign that the higher self is sending to us to show us that we are doing something wrong. Or maybe we are doing something that is not working. So it's not something completely bad, but it's something that is showing us what's good and what's not good for us. So let's take this with a different perception. Let's take this with a different approach, and let's understand that the higher self is always there, is our guide to show us what's good for us and to help us to live this temporary journey that we have on this earth, on this planet, in the best way possible. So let's take this as something good and something that is showing us the way somehow, okay? Because in the end, you can always be, do, and have anything you want in your life. Bye! Boom!